Chapter 12. The CARPOOL Lane. Love is the only force capable of transforming an enemy into a friend. Martin Luther King Jr. This is a story of temptation. We have all been tempted at one time or another. Temptation goes all the way back to the time of Adam and Eve, for those who follow the teachings of the Bible. Sometimes we know what not to do, but we go ahead and do it anyway, hoping to get away with it. Well, sometimes we do get away with it, and other times we do not. It was back in the 1990s when I got an inner nudge to relocate to Los Angeles, California from New Jersey. I packed my bags and was on my way to the city of angels. I was excited and looking forward to visiting some of the places I had seen on TV and in the movies, like Beverly Hills, Rodeo Drive, and Hollywood, and perhaps run into some movie stars. Marina del Rey was where I decided to make my home. It's a beautiful part of Los Angeles, surrounded by tributaries of the Pacific Ocean not far from Venice Beach and Santa Monica, where there was lots of action. I had also enrolled in a chiropractic university in Whittier, California, about 40 minutes drive from Marina del Rey. This period was a new start in life for me. Once I got settled in, I decided to go sightseeing in Beverly Hills and Hollywood. As I drove toward Rodeo Drive in Beverly Hills, the traffic was almost at a standstill. Gradually, it started moving again. I thought there must have been an accident, but when I got to the point where traffic normalized, I realized there was no accident. There was something else slowing down traffic. A woman was walking here to Afghan hot dogs. That was the first time I had ever seen an Afghan hot. They were the most gorgeous and elegant creatures I had ever seen. Cars were slowing down to admire the dogs as they hopped elegantly like ponies with beautiful long hair parted in the middle, being blown back gently by the wind. They were like supermodels on the runway. I said to myself, I am going to own a dog like this one day. A couple of years later, I decided to move closer to school in Whittier. I found a nice single-family home up in the hills with a great view of downtown Los Angeles. Best of all, it had a big lawn that was gated perfect. It's time to get my Afghan hood, I thought. I searched the pet section of the newspapers and found advertisements for Afghans, but my goodness, I could not believe the price people were asking for that. An Afghan puppy, 1,500 US dollar to 3,000 US dollar as a student. I thought that's a price of a cost of a used car. Why so much money for a dog? I later learned that Afghans are show dogs just to see what they looked like as puppies. I decided to visit a breeder in Laguna Beach, Orange County. Her Afghan had given birth to 5 puppies. When I got there, I was in love. Puppies were all over me, climbing me like a tree, beating my legs and fingers, and falling over each other. The owner said that she normally sold them for 2,000 US dollar each, but she would let me have one for 1,200 since I was a student. I told her I'd think about it and get back to her, then left. I think she sensed the price was out of my budget. When I returned home from school the next day, the light on my answering machine was flashing. I played the message. It was from the breeder in Laguna Beach. I have an Afghan for you and you can have it for free. Give me a call. Wow, that's fantastic. I was excited, but then it hit me. Why would she be giving away a 2,000 US dollar dog for free? What's wrong with it? I called her back right away and without wasting any time asked her what was wrong with the Afghan. Well, the right front arm is bent a little and I really don't think the puppy will ever become a show dog, she said remorsefully. My mind immediately flashed back to Beverly Hills. Those dogs were perfect, no deformity whatsoever, and that was what I wanted. I was happy with her offer but disappointed that the only way I could own an Afghan was to accept one with a deformity. Nevertheless, I told her I'd come the next day to look at the puppy. When I got to Laguna Beach and looked at the dog, I saw that it was not too bad. The puppy was limping but in good spirits. I reasoned that since I was becoming a chiropractic doctor at the university, it would be great opportunity to practice on the puppy, my first non-human patient, and see if chiropractic care would be effective. So while the breeder was instructing me on how to feed and take care of the puppy, my mind was busy contemplating a possible treatment plan to redress the deformed arm. Excited about the prospect of providing the puppy with chiropractic care, I accepted the gift with gratitude. The breeder told me to feel free to bring him back if I changed my mind, and she gave me some food to take along. As we were driving home, the puppy looked about and made me mewing-like sound, probably wondering what had happened to his siblings. I held it closer to me as I drove so it would not feel lonesome. When we got home, I fed it and began taking care of the deformed arm using joint mobilization techniques, myofascial release, and heat therapy. The puppy was a good patient. He never complained or tried to run away during therapy. He was a puppy dog and full of energy, perhaps too energetic. He thought my leather shoes were his toys. When I came home from school one day, I found holes in all my leather shoes, and there were torn papers and dog food everywhere. He was apparently having a party in my absence. As I scolded him, telling him he could not do that again, that I needed my shoes in good condition, he was busy wagging his little tail excitedly, jumping all over me, biting my fingers, and even biting the shoes I was wearing. I gave up on the lecture. After 3 months of chiropractic care, his right front leg was perfect. He was no longer limping. 6 months later, my Afghan looked and behaved just like the ones I had seen in Beverly Hills. I named him Zardin, after the legendary Afghan hood that had been presented to the royal family of England in 1907. We became inseparable companions. Soon we were going for walks and runs, and he was racing around open grounds with other dogs. Incidentally, the Afghan hood breed is originally from Afghanistan. They are hunting dogs and very fast. Jardine always left other dogs panting whenever they tried keeping up with him. I had a two-seater sports car in those days, and Jardine always sat next to me on the passenger seat because of his beautiful long hair that blew about in the wind as we drove around. People easily mistook him for a woman when they saw him from the back. That was until they saw his long nose. On a side view, I was often asked by friends, "Who was the lady I saw you driving around with?" I'd explain it was my dog, Jardine, and we have a good laugh. One day, I was in my former neighborhood, Marina del Rey, with Jardine, returning to my school in winter. I had an exam that afternoon and wanted to make it back to school in time. However, there was a bumper-to-bumper traffic on Freeway 101 by the Los Angeles airport. The traffic was so congested, it took almost an hour to cover 1 mile. I was getting frustrated knowing I was about to miss my exam. When I looked over at the two carpool lanes, I saw they were practically empty, cars zooming by at high speed. That's when temptation set in. I look another look at my dog with his lovely long hair. Everybody mistake you for a woman, don't they? Next thing I knew, I was cruising down the carpool lane with Jardine. We had not gone more than a mile when I looked in my rearview mirror and noticed a police car approaching in the left carpool lane. I turned to Jardine. "I think we are in big trouble." He looked at me with his head tilted to one side, wondering what I was talking about. As the police car passed, I tried my best not to make eye contact with the officer. But from my peripheral vision, I saw the officer casually peek into my car. Not believing what he saw, he quickly took another look and shook his head in dismay. Pull over, blasted through the loudspeaker of his vehicle. The officer turned on every flashing light on the vehicle, along with sirens. He halted traffic in all 6 lanes of the freeway and, with his car bumper, literally pushed my car to the far right side of the highway. At that point, I forgot all about my exam. There was a much bigger problem at hand. Looking through my rear view mirror, I saw the officer getting out of his vehicle. With one hand placed on top of his firearm, he approached my vehicle and motioned me to roll down my window. My dog started barking at the sight of the officer. "Woof, woof, woof." "Calm your dog down," demanded the police officer. Pleaded with my dog. "Jardine, please calm down. This is a law enforcement officer." I hope he would understand. Reluctantly, he stopped barking, sat down, and continued growling, upset that somebody in uniform was disturbing his best friend. "Sir, what are you doing?" asked the officer, bewildered. "What do you mean?" I replied quietly, innocently. Turning red in the face, he said, "Sir, you were driving in the carpool lane. The carpool lane is for 2 or more passengers." "Yes, I know. There's me and my dog. 2 passengers." At this point, the officer's face was so red, I thought he was going to explode. Trying his best to hold back expletives, he explored rapidly, raising his voice as he went on. "Sir, the carpool lane is for 2 people. 2 people. It's not for 1 man and a bird. It's not for 1 man and a cat. It's definitely not for 1 man and a dog. It's for 2 people. 2 people." So funny. I'm sorry. Officer, I'm sorry. I started apologizing, realizing I caused him much discomfort. Hearing my accent while I was apologizing, he asked in a calmer, more sympathetic tone, Sir, where are you from? As soon as I said, West Africa, he raised his arms in the air and cried out, It's figures. Let me explain something to you, sir. He leaned toward me and continued now speaking to me slowly as if I could not understand English in a hushed tone, as if confiding a secret. I really don't care what you guys do in your carpool lanes in Africa. I really don't care. I don't care if you have one man and a goat, one man and a chicken, or one man and a deer. I don't care. But here in Los Angeles is two people. Do you understand, sir? The officer was clearly unhappy, and each time he said two people, he would show me two fingers to drive his massage home. I completely understand, officer, I reassured him. How long have you lived in Los Angeles? I questioned. 3 months, officer. Well, you've been here long enough to know better, so I'm going to give you a ticket, but I'm going to give you a break this time. Normally, fine is more than $300 US, but I'm going to give you a ticket for $168 US as a warning. Thank you, officer, I said, a bit relieved. Observing my demeanor, my dog sensed the problem was resolved. Re-energized, he stood on the passenger seat and started barking again. Woof, woof, woof. But this time the bark was much softer, as if he did not mean it. It was unclear to me whether the dog was thanking the officer on my behalf for being gentle, or whether he was still trying to chase away the officer. In any case, we accepted the ticket, our karma. And oh my god, so sad. The pages is gone, is lost. There's no continue. I could not finish reading. It's lost the pages. Sadly, help me.